All right, let's get it started here. We have been not around for a while, but we got 2 weeks for you. We got week 27 and 28 in a row. So we'll get these out for you for the Team Wars review. Appreciate you guys. Some interesting weeks. This week, Dire Tide actually won the 50 bracket, and then the next week, Dead Whales was in the 50 bracket and beat Dire Tide, but got third to us in chefs. Pretty good run though. They had I think they were. God, I actually couldn't tell you what the final score was, but they were probably like 30, 40 points away, so not terrible. It seems like, it's not a lot, but Chefs was basically lossless. I think I don't know, I think they ended up missing like 40 points or something like that. We ended up missing 60 or something like that. I can't remember. I actually might be able to load up. I don't think I have opened my packs. But they basically didn't lose a match, so I definitely could have used Witch Doctor there, but was I waiting to not kill him until somebody else to die? I guess, I was trying to get see if I could kill the other guy. Well, also I wanted the berries to spawn. Witch Doctor level 6, still alive. The level 6, pretty damn good, honestly. In Team Wars especially. Alt-Human Kite, also surprisingly good potential this week, but as per usual, when Mintberry Crunch is an option, Mintberry Crunch is a huge impact this week. As we know, Mintberry Crunch doesn't die to New Kid, so that is just incredibly impactful. Yeah, they missed 40 points. We missed 60 points. Dead Whales missed 100 points-ish. Dire Tide was 150 down, so pretty spread out. Usually it's a little bit closer, but it's interesting now. We'll see. There'll be four teams every week that could be number one, so that's pretty cool. It just so happens that 3 of them are our teams. Well, I guess Animation Boys is usually in there, but they don't really have a chance to go 50 or to go first place in here. So this is an interesting setup here, but this kind of is the use case in this week for the Witch Doctor, is use the Wonder Tweak to pull in the Mintberry Crunch. He has 1 HP, by the way. You use the Mintberry Crunch, you use the Wonder Tweak to pull the Mintberry Crunch into the Wonder Tweak, or not the Wonder Tweak, the Witch Doctor. Too many W's into the Witch Doctor, and that just gives you a lot of value. I was gonna say you can do it hit once and not kill him there, so it's good. Heal up on the 1 cock. I always like it. It's not a problem now because Witch Doctor isn't very good. But there was a stretch when Witch Doctor was pretty good. Oh, I can't believe I pulled the heal there. That's crazy. There was a stretch when he was pretty good. And look at this. We're gonna get the berries. Dang. And I always thought that he shouldn't, if he kills a rat, he shouldn't fully heal off that rat, right? Like, he should only heal for the amount of damage he actually does. And then you could argue that maybe you could change it, as a result. So, versus 1 unit, it's less strong, but you could change it to, if you hit multiple units, then you actually do heal for each one. So if you hit 5 roosters, you might actually fully heal because, each one has, 200 HP or whatever it is. So it could, it's kind of a thing where it's a potentially high value if you play it better into, Swarm and stuff. and then lower value, you know, just in the sense that you can't just kill Scout and get full health from it, right? But he's pretty much dog shit now, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Interesting setup here. Wonder Tweak in our hands now, but Witch Doctor's gonna die before it matters. But we do have the Wonder Tweak is also potentially you could pull them together so that your own Mintberry Crunch kills him. And I believe with the Wonder Tweak damage, plus if your Mintberry Crunch hits him, if your Mintberry Crunch is even level, it should kill the Mintberry Crunch. And I like Santa's obviously a combo card with the Witch Doctor. Also can work well with the Mintberry Crunch, but I think this whole week I maybe played Santa once. I just don't really think he's worth that 5 energy. That knockback I feel like is potentially bad. Just doesn't do enough damage. The HP is kind of low for 5 energy. All right, we're gonna get my Mintberry Crunch out, which is nice because it hits all my cows. But we do stop him. No, his one cow gets through somehow. So that's good. He took a bar, but we also take a bar. So not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. Do we get one more? Oh, the level 7 cows come through clutch there. We have to be careful we don't get the heal, because that's also another thing with the the Witch Doctor. If the Witch Doctor gets the Scuzzlebutt on him, it actually does increase the damage. It's pretty hard to do that, honestly. If you do pull it off, you're probably gonna win from other stuff rather than the Witch Doctor ability, but it is still awesome to be able to have that combo where it's just crazy value if you get it off. Because the problem is like Witch Doctor's probably gonna kill most things anyway, and so like the extra damage that you could do would only really like maybe you could chunk a tank much more, but it's that like wouldn't really be noticeable. This is a Witch Doctor token showcase. Well, yeah, the reason we went with him is because him plus Wonder Tweak is just one of the best, most consistent ways to deal with the Mintberry Crunch. Without that, you're pretty much at the mercy of whether or not you can get your Mintberry Crunch damage onto his Mintberry Crunch. But yeah, it's definitely, you know, usually I would avoid playing the Wonder Tweak or the Witch Doctor token. Well, Wonder Tweak too, honestly. Wonder Tweak's not great, but the Member Berries also, like, I didn't really play the Member Berries. I played them a couple times, not many times. But see, here's the exact example here. Sloop them up. Now we could have just used Wonder Tweak's ability there probably, but or not Wonder Tweak's, Mintberry Crunch like that, but hold it there, get a big chunk. That's good. Also prevents him from using certain cards because I can just remove it. Look at this. Look at this. Booyah. Beautiful play. Beautiful play. This is I think this is definitely a good deck. Good deck choice. This is the week. What up, Isim? This is the week Dire Tide took first place. This is last week. Week 27. All right, we got Fuki You Will. Interesting name. Thane the Pain. And I do like the that Scout Ike being out there. He's a very good card. Very good card. Very good for the damage. Not bad. The Wonder Tweak really impacts the value of the cows there. Holding them back after they've already charged just really, really lowers the DPS, as you can see there. You know, when they play level 7 cows in Team Wars and they don't take a bar, that means you did a pretty good job. Most of the time, a lot of weeks you have to just give up a bar and just set up the next push. But it's nice because, you know, you don't have to worry about them. You don't have to worry about them Sataning you, fireballing you, inking you, whatever. Yeah! Tat! Yeah!
This fucking dummy!
This dummy subbing to me in 2026. That's crazy. Appreciate you, brother. Bordak got it. Jimmy got it. Dodge got it.
This fucking dummy!
Good stuff. Appreciate you, brother. We got 2 weeks review for you tonight.
Yeah!
Lord Louis 666.
This fucking dummy!
72 hundo, potentially good player. This was the end of the season though, so you never know. Level 6 cows though, makes you wonder. Gotta make sure we kill that middle guy.
Dummy.
Level 6 choir boy is gonna slow down. I should have tried to play him where his ability would have hit the top guy, but that choir boy actually takes him down.
This fucking dummy!
Finally. I think there's one left. Oh no, that was the last one. Did one out of order. Might as well just use that now. But we don't want to kill him, but that minus attack. We use this, pull them together. This is the most trash thing that's I hate that. I hate that shit. I get 3 spawns and 2 of them are... We get 11, 12, 13, 14. We get 15 energy right there. So dumb. So dumb. I hate it. We could play Mintberry Crunch right here. We could play cows right here. Hate that. Appreciate you stopping by, Tat. You should check out that game I posted in Discord and stuff. Brand new. It's a lot of fun. It's called Astral Arena or something. I'm having a blast with it. All right, we got Unforgiving Sporks. Sponge? What is it? Sport. Unforgiving Sport. South Park is definitely an unforgiving sport. Isim, you should play that game with me too. Fuck that critter game. Play this cool one with me. It's 3v3 League of Legends basically, but not really. It's like team deathmatch. Berries right there isn't terrible, but he could counter it with berries himself too. Like one of the best ways to counter berries is to actually use your own berries right on their berries, like right after their berries, because then your berries will spawn on their spawns. So you're almost guaranteed to get spawns, but then it's just kind of luck of the draw because they could get better spawns than you, basically. Can we do it again? Can we do it again? Get lucky? Looks like we did because we got Satan or Santa and the cows and we got another berry there, but it didn't really matter because we took them out. Nicely done, nicely done. Mintberry Crunch gets his ability. Yeah, I was gonna say Labard would be a good play here. Blocks the, I'm not sure if he'll break the heal. I think he just did. Oh, did he? No, it didn't look like he did, but the choir boy definitely will do it. Although I think it's only a level 4 choir boy. This is the adventure lock account. Not a bad match. Not a bad match. Now we have A to Z Tony. Tuzini to Z. Do you guys watch Atozi on YouTube? A to Z. He covers like internet drama and stuff like that. He's pretty fun. He's a good one. See, that's exactly why you do that. Great for the reset there. Puts us in decent position here. We get to push him back. He gets to reset even more if he wants to. Like if they play an assassin maybe or something like that. But that is textbook board control right there. We played basically the same card, but I'm just in such a better position. Now that's not a bad card, but this is what the cows are kind of made for this week, is to just get that combo done. The Wonder Tweak, a little bit late there. If you would have gotten the Wonder Tweak with the, like on the cows, like use the Wonder Tweak on the cows. Keep that hype train going. Let's go. use the Wonder Tweak on the cows, keep them away from the berries, and then the berries spawn on that group of everything, and he gets like 7. He gets his whole deck spawned. That'd be crazy, dude. Nicely done. The Labard actually takes out the level 2 Mintberry Crunch. I thought I was gonna have to Mintberry Crunch him and then do it. Appreciate that, brother. Hype Train level 2. 5 gifted subs. Dinky. Dinky, 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 dinky. What emote did I get? What did I get? What even is that? Who's this diva? Plush? Oh, that's the artist. Can I do a boom with that? There you go. That's our new emote. Everybody gets to see it now. All right, that's like I said, that's a good example. The Wonder Tweak plus my Witch Doctor, or plus my Mintberry Crunch takes down his Mintberry Crunch. I think we had hit him once though, so that mattered too. Mintberry Crunch almost sniped the choir boy there, or sniped to protect the choir boy. Good hits there. Assassins, man, you just can't leave them like you can normally in ladder, because you're, new kids doing twice the damage, and assassin's just gonna die in a couple hits. But if it's already taken a hit. But I've really wondered how many more losses would we see every week if New Kid was level 18. Even if it was just level 18, doesn't have to be level 25. I feel like that's fine to not be level 25. Make Team Wars be unique. That's fine. But instead of 14, if it was 18, and one level 7 cows no longer just takes 2 or 3 bars. Like if it would, or maybe not 18, but whatever level, the reset like basically kills the cows. Well, I mean, that doesn't even happen at level 25, but you know what I mean. Like whatever's an adequate, or maybe not kills the cows, like kill your basic assassins and stuff like that. Like kill Gizmo. So, like imagine if Gizmo died. How would Gizmo never be the right choice if Gizmo died to New Kid? Because one of the main reasons you use him now is because he dies to New Kid. I didn't want to use the ability there because I didn't want to push him backwards. I want to hit him on my side, so we're just chilling there. Could probably berries here, but we're just kind of relaxing. Could use Cow Stampede here. Wouldn't be the worst thing ever. I like this though. That was a nice cycle into the Shield Maiden there. And this is one of the few, or the only account actually, that we had Shield Maiden, not Witch Doctor. So you had to think about how to deal with the... Dude, that was so stupid, the way he did that. Because he didn't get, like, sure he's going to get really, really good cow value here. Now, I probably could have used Wonder Tweak there, actually, and pulled them away and done enough damage with the units that were out there, but that ended up working out because they had a lot less health because of that Labard. Should be based on your team's league. Well, that's, I think, what it originally was. I feel like the original setup of Team Wars, that's what it was. But we just, like, nobody was in Gold League yet, so nobody saw that. And then by the time we get to that, they had changed it to everybody was 14. I'm pretty sure that's true. And honestly, in my opinion, the first iteration of Team Wars they did, where New Kid was higher level, and they actually took into account your ladder, I think they would have found, like, what ended up happening was, back then, because the way that they did the caps was a little different, it didn't really matter all that much to D-rank down. But then also you could be ranked up for your caps. What people would do is they'd be ranked up for their caps, they'd D-rank Friday night, they'd run their Team Wars Saturday morning, and they'd be D-ranked, so they'd be like 6,500 or whatever, and that would mean they would be getting that much lower ranks. Like, it actually took that into account. Because for some people, And like, maybe this wasn't the best iteration because of what I'm about to say here, but if you were higher ranked, it could take you a while to get a match because it's going to try to match you with the higher people. So waiting longer until like Sunday night would probably give you a bigger advantage because people higher than you wouldn't be around, but you would have to wait a long time until the matchmaking opened up and allowed you to match somebody lower, right? So it'd be a kind of a good and bad to it. But I think the way they do the caps now, and then the way like D ranking is a little different with like the D rank floor and stuff like that. They've manufactured and engineered all the issues out of the original Team Wars, but they had already changed Team Wars. But I think what they should have done, though, thinking about it, is kind of like challenge mode, where challenge mode matches you based on two things. It matches you based on what number of wins you're on in that run. So if you're, 1 win away, you're pretty likely to match up somebody who's, 1, 2, 3, 4 wins away from 12 or something like that. Your first runs, you're more likely to match other people who are first runs. So it's easier typically to get to the higher ones, and then when you get to the higher ones, you're more likely to get to someone who's a better challenge mode player, right? But it also takes into account your battle or like your challenge mode wins, your total challenge mode wins. So if you're someone who plays nothing but challenge mode, you're more likely to also get somebody who plays nothing but challenge mode. What they should do is they should include your battle day wins, which only tracks whether you get 3 wins. Every single one of your weeks could be 3-2, which is a pretty bad average score, but that still puts you at the max battle day wins, right? So you could have a 3-2 average, but still have the same battle day wins that a 3-0 person gives you. So like, I think doing it with that, you'd still get a lot of matches where like you're like the better skilled, higher level, whatever person, people like me, people in free to play, whatever, they're going to probably have a favorable matchup just simply because like the other person might have the same amount of battle days or similar battle days, but like I said, they lose 2 times every week, right? So they're just not as strong of players. Another FU whale, 2 in 1 week. So I think there's still, it's not going to just always be it's going to be a really, really hard match. And there's going to be so many losses, and it's just going to be really variable. Because then another thing that comes up is, right now you run into like potato wars, right? Where just one DC could lose you the week because like basically anybody worth their salt doesn't lose very often. They're going to lose every once in a while, but they just don't lose very often. And that's partially because there's not a whole lot of useful opponents out there, honestly. But if that changed, and every single match, think about, when you're practicing against somebody who's also really good, you can go 7 matches, and one person will win 4, one person will win 3. Well, if that was real life, one of you lost 3 already, and your run is done, and you scored a very low amount, right? So what would end up happening is people's score would be very variable, and like their average and stuff would be really variable because of the fact that you would just lose way more matches, and it would just come down to, well, do I get do I match up against these people who are just as good as me? And it's basically 50-50 win chance because we're both as skilled, we're both as leveled, whatever, and basically comes down to a little bit of luck, cycle maybe, and then, maybe a little bit of good playing. Oh, we almost got the Wonder Tweak on the Professor Chaos there. That would have been amazing if the Professor Chaos died to the Wonder Tweak, or not the Wonder Tweak, the Witch Doctor. The Witch Doctor ability hits him and then killed him before he gets the ability off. That would have been so nuts. But yeah, so then it would be like, instead of teams losing by 15 points, 20 points, teams would be losing by 100, 200 points. Because you'd have, you lose this week because this guy got a 0, because he matched up 3 really good people, and he went win, loss, and then took another loss. So he won 2 really good matches, but then lost 3 matches, and those 2 wins, like if you don't get that 3rd win, the score is just so vastly different, and it doesn't really make sense because like a 3-2 is like 3 wins, 2 losses is what, an 80 something, 85 or something. If you lose that 3rd one, you're missing, and you only have 2 wins. What, you only get like 46 points or something like that? Or yeah, I think it's 24, 26 or something if you win. I can't remember exactly how it is if you only win 1. But it just doesn't really make the scoring doesn't really make all that much sense. And it works okay because like it's pretty rare that anybody loses 3 on like, you know, the top teams, because there's just so much fodder out there. Fodder is a good word for it. There's so many people out there that just don't stand a chance. Mostly because their team probably doesn't have the levels. I've also wondered that, like, how much would Team Wars change if everybody just had... What if everybody's levels were just max levels, right? And the only part of Team Wars that there was throughout the whole week, Monday through Friday, you voted and figured out the deck. And then on Friday or on Saturday, Sunday, you play with that deck. And there's no caps, there's no leveling. Now that vastly, I would say, decreases 2 things. It decreases, you know, the skill of not only building the deck, but calling out the levels. Because, you know, if you could just have everything level 7, I think you're going to be choosing different decks sometimes. Because there's sometimes where we choose a card because, okay, we can pick mind control and only level up mind control, you know, whatever we can at the end, because it does its job with 4 seconds. You don't need 10 seconds, right? Stuff like that. Or something like, I think Inuit this week, we kept level 4 so that it didn't kill so the tower would kill it. Now that actually puts you at a pretty big disadvantage if they had a level 5 tower, but usually comes down to rotation if equally skilled. Yeah, for sure. Well, equally skilled and leveled too, but yeah. I mean, because the only way to beat rotation is being a better skilled person. So yeah, if you're equally skilled and the other guy never makes a mistake and just has a better rotation, in a lot of these decks, there is nothing you can do. Like if you have, like, let's say it's a cow deck and you have, you know, the 3 or 4 cards in your deck that are built to stop the cows. And what if it's like a week where it's like cows plus Dar or something like that, and you play a couple things, maybe Fireball is an option, you don't have your Fireball to kill their cows, you don't have Satan, you don't have whatever it is to deal with cows, you play your stuff that should stop the cows and then build the push and probably win, but they do something like a Fireball and removes your stuff, and then the cows don't die soon enough and they take 2 bars, and then you're basically, even if you take 2 bars, there's nothing you can do because they can just cycle back to the cows and win, right? There's just sometimes you just can't win. Now, I would say this is the exact time where not Dark Mage, what's his name again? No, that is Dark Mage. Dark Mage, I was thinking Dwarf King. Dark Mage, this week, you should only use it really if there's a bunch of units out there in general. But the moment you see Terrence and Phillip, it's a good time to use him because 1, he's going to AoE hit both of them with his ability, and 2, you know, DPS cut in half on 2 units is just very good. Buccaneer Bebe this week, interesting choice. You know, you could potentially get some good stacks on the Bebe because of the amazingly Randy potential. I think was Slave an option this week, or was that last year? I can't remember. But there was some options to get some stacks on the Buccaneer, and I think at least one match an enemy does get a couple good stacks, but the problem is, like, even if she's fully stacked, you can kill her with Arrow Storm and Labard. You can kill her with the Inuit. You can kill her with Stan of Many Moons plus Arrow Storm or Labard. Like, there's just a lot of stuff. And because Buccaneer Bebe only increases attack, and that's why Belf is just so much better, because even though Belf's attack doesn't go up, having 130 or 40, whatever attack it is, 180, whatever, having that much attack and then having that much health where now she survives New Kid after a couple of stacks, then she could potentially get stacked back up again and survive the next New Kid. She could just get so much potential value that she just outclasses the babe, and she's one cost cheaper, right? And just to be frank, it's just hard to get that last hit, because even right there, that's the perfect setup, is the two cocks heading at him, but it doesn't matter because nice hit, almost got the Labard there. It doesn't matter because that you just can't get the last hit. Like, you don't have any, you know, other than the first hit, maybe you don't really have any say on whether or not Bebe's gonna get that last hit or not. Can't even play this game without a VPN. What's up, Oni? Maybe you should move out of shit-ass Texas. That's so funny that a place like that, where it's like all about freedom, has something like that. You're freer in Texas, but you can't watch porn or do anything. Look at this Dark Mage value. He would have gotten the bar there, just hitting him. Got Bolt to 7, then Greg Abbott took SPPD away. Well, you can get a VPN. Obviously, there's free VPNs, but you can get a VPN. You can just turn on SPPD, and then once you're out of that first window, you can turn off the VPN. So it's kind of a hassle, but you know, it doesn't add too much. Look at this play. I only did this because there's a level 4 tower, and I figured this guy sucked. But basically, pretty much the same thing happened if I wouldn't have had the shield on there. You have Proton VPN? Yeah, you should. All you have to do is get through that first like login check. Once you're out of that login check and into the game, you should be able to turn it off, and then you should be good for that session. I'm not sure if you change accounts if that stays. So like it could potentially make it more annoying if you're switching between multiple accounts, but if I remember right, you only have one. But you have to make sure that you're VPNing somewhere where it also doesn't still have, or it doesn't have some similar rule. Because I don't know if you didn't know this, Texas passed a law where for certain online things you have to prove your age, and that could be as simple as putting in your birthday. Honestly, I've seen in some sites, but since South Park isn't actually developed, they couldn't put in some sort of mechanism to check your birthday or to check your age, which you know, sometimes it's like take a put on your webcam for a second, and then they'll use AI to figure out how old you are, kind of thing. And if they really have a question, you have to give them your ID or something like that. Kind of lame, but oh shit, that sucks. But for South Park, you just can't play the game. It says what? It's not available in your area or something like that, because they couldn't add a face recognition or whatever it might be. But now you have to launch a VPN every time you play. Yeah, but like, what, you play 4 times a week? Is that really a big problem? Is that really gonna bother you? Now, if you still played the game every day, loaded up every 4 hours to play PvP packs, loaded it up every 7 hours to request a card, if you still did that, I would say, yeah, this is annoying. if you play 4 times a week, once for PAX, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then once for Team Wars on Saturday, Sunday, and that's all you do, then shut the fuck up and turn your VPN on, you pussy. Shut up. Pretty good setup. We can Mackie or Murph. Look, see this is a case where the Buccaneer gets actually pretty set up, but he's not able to put like if you put a Mackie in front of him right there, that would have actually, if you would have done that, if you would have put the Mackie in front of the Buccaneer there, let's roll this back. If he puts the Mackie in front of the Buccaneer here, pushes him back, possibly makes him retarget and not able to hit him again, but that plus 118 means I got a good chance of killing last hit and stuff too. And then the way he put him, New Kid wasn't even getting the fucking Mackie boost, so all that boost went away. So that's a huge amount of DPS we lost there. And then also, the Murph was stunning the Buccaneer Bebe that whole time. So if that guy would have just put the Mackie in front, he would have potentially stopped my Murph before I even hit New Kid at all, and then had a full health, double, potentially triple stacked Buccaneer Bebe, and then Mackie probably was going to die to that Inuit regardless, but he definitely had a better chance. Get that ability off before the Murph starts hitting you, because otherwise it's just 0 damage. Honestly, that AoE from the Dark Mage, not bad. Pretty damn good. Good hit here, the plus 29, plus 70. Huge damage from the Dwarf, or the Dwarf King. I never remember this damn card's name. From the Dark Mage, plus 74. And one thing that's good about the Dark Mage is that his range is pretty low. So it's much more potential that he will stay in the Mackie range. If they're actually spaced, he still doesn't get it, but I think Cupid's the only one that's close enough to actually pretty much always stay in the Mackie range. But Trojan Horse. If you didn't notice, we are in week 28 here. This is a double feature, week 27 and week 28 coming at you all at once. I didn't stream at all last week. Like I said earlier, the lady is taking some time off from work because she's transitioning to a different role, and that role isn't available until like middle of August, so she's just taking that time off. And in that time, I'm not streaming as much so that I hang out with her, because pretty much the only time I stream is when she's sleeping or working, so works out pretty good. And then we'll have to figure out what her new schedule will be with her new role, and then from there we'll figure out another Twitch schedule. Dark Mage right there would have been pretty solid, because like I said, the Terrence and Phillip. Also lower the tower damage, stuff like that. Transitioning, yeah, to a different role, you sicko. But the Stand of Many Moons here, good setup. Mackie'd be a good setup. Dark Mage on defense, depending on what he does. I probably could have pushed that a little bit more and gotten more value, but I feel like that slow play worked out pretty well too. Not bad. Interesting choice there. Actually, that should head right for New Kid. I like that. The stand. The Mackie not getting close enough for my New Kid to get that boost though, but an extra 74 on each Inuit hit. I'll take that. We should kill him level 6. Maybe level 7 would have died there. I'm not sure. Definitely not if the Mackie boost comes through though. Huge value there. Huge value from the Sam that survived. But there's some good damage there. Oh, okay. Well, I guess it wasn't Sam that killed him. Very good Inuit play there, but it doesn't kill the Bar Brady. It kills the Dark Mage, which arguably I want him dead, because then I can cycle back to him and get his ability off again. The Arrow Storm Pretty good. If we can just get one hit from Barbrady onto the new kid, then his ability should take it out, but the Inuit comes through as well. So we don't the Barbrady doesn't even die. Probably because when he played a card, the new kid transitioned to attack the Inuit. Transition. Now the word's in my head. All right, now we got M-E-A-C-E-T. M-E-A-C-E. M-E-A-C. You don't really want to play your tower defender first in range where I can hit the tower defender, because you can just do something like this. Now I'm at a big advantage here. If you would have gotten that deckhand heal on him, it would have been actually pretty sick. I like this play though. Get that out first so that we're popping off damage. Don't hate that from him. He almost got the tower before I got the Robin tweak off on it. But the Inuit does its job. Now, if Labard did enough damage to kill the Inuit flat out, Labard might be a playable card in ladder, honestly. Because that would also kill so many other things. It would just be good value. We're playing him out because he's going to be behind the tower defender here. So we're just building our push. Blocks him from being able to go. Now, like, there is the potential of the Dragon Slayer red. So, like, double stacking the tanks isn't the best idea. But as long as I don't put the Murph out there as well, shouldn't really be that big of a deal. Honestly, if you can get him to to Dragon Slayer your tower, and then not Murph or Barbrady, you know, whichever opposite one, it probably is good for you. So it's kind of like a little bait move, like you do with, you know, you put out Mecha, they bait the power bind, and then you play Som or something like that, you know. You gotta bait those cards, especially easy when you know what cards they might have because of Team Wars. I've always thought this in ladder. What if, you know how in Team Wars it pops up your deck at the beginning, right? What if in ladder at the beginning it pops up their deck, so that you know, oh hey, this guy's got cock magic, I can't build. Oh hey, this guy's got Satan, I gotta be careful. Oh hey, this guy's got cows, I gotta hold my fireball for cows. Oh, this guy's got light, or this guy's got mecha, so I have to hold my lightning bolt for mecha. Because how many times do you lose a match just simply from like surprise because you don't know what card they have? And it's like there's just simply too many cards in the game for you to play as if the other guy has every single other card. Like, obviously there's only 2 themes that he could possibly have, but you could potentially have a deck that only has 2 cards in another theme, and you don't really know what the other theme is until the cock magic hits you, right? But yeah, it would be interesting, because if you knew their deck, would certain cards just truly become unplayable? Now here, instead of playing Robin Tweak behind him, if he wouldn't have played anything, I would have played Robin Tweak right there, because that would have forced him to play something close to my tower to get tower damage. That's why Satan's lame. Yeah, exactly. So if you knew whether they had Satan, because like you have to always play as if they might have Satan, right? Exactly. So if you knew that they have Satan, and that's why the choice in Team Wars, a lot of the times, like even though Satan is very strong, a lot of the times it's not the right choice to take Satan in Team Wars, because if you know, well, one, there just might not be all that many Satan, like super Satanable targets. Like if it's a super, like this week, if you had Satan, it's not really saving you against much, you know, like your tanks are still busting through. A lot of the support cards still survive a Satan. Like Satan is good for, you know, obviously cows potentially, something like a Call Girl, Mintberry Crunch type of thing, stuff like that. But otherwise, like if you know that it's coming, you know, you can play top side, bottom side, and it's you know, it's still possible to get that Satan value, because everything's gonna walk midline anyway. But if you have something like, let's say you have Medusa Bebe, look at this. If you have something like I wouldn't have done that if he had a higher level Som, but he didn't, so I figured I could pull it off. But like something like Medusa Bebe on the bottom that has a high range, and then, you know, another range card on the top that could get to you, maybe like Ninja or something like that, who has high health too. Could be trouble. Could be trouble. You gotta love this almost dead Robin tweak that not only gets one hit on New Kid, but also forces him to play a card. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Got Randy. I'll match your Randy with mine.
Check out this trick. Check out this trick.
Yeah, I agree with this. Just slow play it. No real reason to support this. He's already at New Kid. He's already going to get the value. Do the damage to New Kid. Not sure how much. Well, he's getting pushed away, actually. He might not. He might not now. Oh, nope. Now he's walking forward. The Inuit. Gonna get there. Wow. Wow. That Bar Brady has deceptive amount of health back there. Take that bar, and then it kills. Incredible value there from that Inuit. Incredible value, guys. Holy shit. Holy shit. Honestly, we wanted him to go towards the New Kid instead of hitting the tower. So this is actually ideal. He's going to dump 8 energy into damaging my New Kid a little bit with the Murph. So we're going to build a push, do a crazy amount of damage to him with plus 210 extra damage per hit on each one of those units. Crazy value there. That's just a doesn't matter what you play, we're gonna win type of thing. Probably should have waited for him to play one more card, but it ended up working out. Nicely played there. Probably doesn't even stop any damage from the deckhand though, it looked like. Lightning Bolt was an option this week. What are you gonna Lightning Bolt? What are you gonna Lightning Bolt? What was the options between Lightning Bolt versus Aerostorm? Is that what it was? It's usually the same rarity. I guess there's no epic spell and or another epic spell.
We can do this easy way. We can do it hard. Check out this trick.
Just kind of slow play here. Excuse me. My choices here kind of just depend on what he does. Aerostorm here wouldn't be bad, but we can use the Som because we're protected. Didn't really need to do both of those because the Som was gonna blast him anyway, but I don't hate that because it just leaves Murph with a lot more HP than he actually normally would have had. Can I Aerostorm plus the Som to kill his Som? I think so. I could Robin Tweak here. Definitely true if I hit him with that. Nicely done. I might have been hitting some AoE with that, with the Dark Mage too, actually there. Very, very good Robin Tweak there. Very good Robin Tweak there. Robin Tweak survived. I mean, I could have done it where Robin Tweak didn't get hit by that, I guess. Nice hit, and New Kid takes him down. Nicely done. Nicely done. It was Bolt or Fantasy Tower. Oh, okay, that makes sense. It's Aerostorm or Chicken Coop. That makes sense. Bolt? Wait, you're telling me that team took Bolt instead of Tower Defender? For what unit? How is that possible? What unit would you be Lightning Bolting? Like that would maybe make sense if there's a Mintberry Crunch, if there's a Mecha Timmy, if there's an Alchemist Bradley, if there's something that could really mess you up that you could Lightning Bolt and kill it. But like, what are you gonna use Lightning Bolt for this week? Randy? I guess you could use it against Randy. I could have LeBard there. I gotta be honest, I don't understand what happened right there. Inuit must have hit him. Inuit must have hit the Paladin there. His ability on this hit right there. No, that doesn't really make sense. I was gonna say the Sheriff would have to be dead already, but he had a ton of health. So he's dead already, and then this follow through of the Inuit hits the Paladin. That's the only thing that makes sense, and then that's the only thing that makes sense. my bolt is level 5, it probably wouldn't kill Randy. I think it would still, but that's funny. Randy doesn't have much health. But like something like Mecha Timmy, a little beefier, definitely, you definitely have trouble. Your bolt still being level 5 is crazy. Nicely done. The Dark Mage still being alive. Dark Mage still alive is crazy, dude. Oh, Jammin', you might appreciate this. I got this emulator thing on Amazon. I was gonna originally do this. I was gonna use my PSP. So a while back, I bought a PSP for like 80 bucks online, and then bought a bunch of PSP games. I probably have 20-ish, something like that. I'm probably like halfway through them, but my goal is to play all the PSP games that I have, and then I was gonna turn that PSP into like a little emulator machine, which I assume could run Game Boy Advance, Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, and then obviously PlayStation 1 and PSP, since it's, you know, it can run those natively. And then maybe it could run N64, maybe, but probably not. But I just got this handheld for like, it's like 120 bucks only, something like that. And it's basically just, no, it's upstairs. It's basically just a PlayStation Vita that's an emulator machine, but it's an Android device. And it comes preloaded with like every emulator you might need, with like the setup already set up for like the controller and stuff like that, so you don't have to bother. It takes a lot of the work out of it, and then all you have to do is get the ROMs, which I've had most of the ROMs I would need for a long time already. But this thing plays, it's crazy. This little handheld thing plays everything you'd expect. And this is like the second one I have, because I have one that's like it's called a Dingo Digital, and it's like this Chinese thing that I got and on, I think it was Amazon, honestly. But that one can play Super Nintendo, Game Boy, and like Sega Genesis type things. But it's like a little Game Boy Micro. Do you guys remember Game Boy Micro? So right now I'm playing Secret of Mana on Super Nintendo on that one, right? Stuff like that. Pretty fun. But now I can do it all on this new one, which has like a nice screen, about probably a little bit bigger than my normal size cell phone. Touch screen, it's awesome. But it runs, anything before it, obviously. But it runs Super Nintendo, so it also runs, NES. It runs, DOS box, stuff like that. But Super Nintendo, the stuff I'm going to use it for: Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Game Boy Color, or Game Boy Advance, which also could be Game Boy Color stuff. But this shit also runs GameCube games. I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Falsebound Kingdom on it. It runs PlayStation 1, obviously. It runs Dreamcast and Saturn. So I was playing Dreamcast and Saturn games. But this thing also runs PlayStation 2 games. I was playing Sly Cooper on this little handheld thing. Next time I stream, I'll make sure it's here so I can show you guys. But it's funny because I think every time I look at the listing, it's a different company brand, because I think it's probably technically illegal. Well, maybe it's not illegal because they're not using the ROMs, but it's like a weird gray area, and I feel like they just constantly have to change the name. So like they have to constantly change the branding and stuff, but it's always one company. But it's kind of interesting. Like you buy I don't know, man. For the Android device that they have to be good enough to run a PS2 game is pretty crazy. But it's only like 3 GB RAM. It's not even that big, but everything's pretty optimized now. But yeah, you do, get an Android device that works for it for like shit, $50. Put the hardware around it for $20. Spend an hour. Well, you could probably get like an image set up where you just throw that image on and everything's set up, and then boom, sell it for $150 and make $70 profit on each one. Not a bad racket. I've seen those, wondering how good they are. There are definitely some, Jammin, that are bad, right? There's some that are bad. There's some that are like long, and they look like a Game Boy Advance type of thing. I would say if it's not an Android system, I would say maybe avoid it. If it's not an Android thing and then you're just running all the Android emulators, I would avoid it. Because then you're dependent on what emulator they put in there. And you can't, you know, if one emulator works better, or you know one that works better, or maybe there's a new one that comes out later or whatever it might be. Because the thing I have, the little Game Boy Micro thing, has a lot of, like, has the basic features, save states, you know, stuff like that. This Mackie here with that extra 74 is huge, with the tower and everything. It does save states and everything, but you can't do like speed up stuff. And the way it works now is they even have, so this thing has R2 buttons that are mouse click buttons, and or L1 R2 that are mouse clicks, and then the trigger buttons. It's actually pretty cool. But almost every emulator, they have it set up where the left button opens up like the menu where you can save states and stuff, and then the right button does the fast forward. So I don't know if you guys have ever done emulators, but a lot of the times you're fast forwarding through stuff to make it quicker. Whether it's think about a RPG battle or whatever it is, you just go in 2x speed basically. Pokemon, you always did that. All emulators have that ability basically, and it just makes it really easy. It's great. It's incredibly good. I'm so impressed with it. I was expecting it to just be, I can play Super Nintendo, Genesis, stuff like that. PSP. I was hoping I could play PSP games, so I could just download a bunch of them instead of having to buy them all. And then maybe it could play N64. But the fact that it plays GameCube, it also played Wii. I played a Wii game. That was pretty good. But for those ones, it has to be like lower. There are some games that don't run. So like one game will run perfectly fine and another game doesn't run at all. So you just, those, some will work, some it doesn't. But I forgot to say, it also has a Nintendo DS and 3DS. And it works where you can have like the screen and there's a button and it'll flip the screens around. It's freaking crazy. It's crazy good. I'm incredibly impressed with this thing. And for only, it wasn't $200. For only that much, I'm incredibly impressed with what it's capable of. And it's got like 60 some gigabytes. So they're not big ROMs. So okay, love you. I'll probably be up to you. Good night. But yeah, Jammin, I'll try to send you the Amazon link that I used so you can get a idea of which type of one you want to get. If you see it on like a TikTok ad or something like that, avoid that one. Just go to Amazon and look them up. Look for some with some good reviews, a lot of video reviews and stuff like that. But then also it's sometimes just about how much you know the emulators. Because what I usually do is you go online and there's people who have figured out all the settings, and you go, what settings should I use for this game? And then it tells you every setting to set. And each of the emulators lets you, most of them at least, let you do it per game. So you can do all the stuff per game and not have to worry about it. Like some games you have to switch, you don't have to, but some older JRPGs, for whatever reason, I guess it kind of makes sense, but on the PlayStation controller, X is usually yes, and then O is no and back, and then triangle is like usually menu or something, and then square is like action or something. But for some reason in those old JRPGs like Xenosaga, Xenogears, a couple other ones, O was okay and X was back. And it does kind of make sense because if you think about like O, like good, X bad, right? Like think about that type of setup. It does kind of make sense, but every game started just using that bottom button regardless of what the symbol was. The bottom button was like A, like the A, B, X, Y. Like the bottom button is A, the right button is back. Regardless of what the actual button was called, that's what all games just kind of sort of started adopting. And so you can switch those around so you don't have to, every time you play that game, you don't have to remember. The screens are different. For SNES RPGs, A confirmed, B cancel. Yeah, same idea. Same idea. You have it backwards. His SNES was backwards. Or like X and Y. Like X and Y on the GameCube controller is a weird position, but it's basically left and up. So on a Xbox, you do X and Y. But it's not X and Y. But you know what I mean. It's actually backwards. But I do really like the GameCube controller. I have one. I have a USB one. And I quite like them. But the problem is the triggers are kind of like excuse me. The triggers are like hard to click, if that makes sense. It's like you push them in and like if you're playing a game where that's the shoot button and you have to click like God, it's like something right in my throat. You ever get that where it's like you can't even talk? Like if that's the like the shoot button, it just your finger gets so tired. So I have to remap some of those. But otherwise, yeah, it's been crazy good. And even what was I playing? Oh yeah, on the Wii, it actually it'll use the device's gyroscope for the Wiimote. So like for some games, it's like it doesn't use the Wiimote ever during gameplay, but like in the original menu, there's a fucking you have to point the Wiimote to start the game or something. So you can emulate the Wiimote and get there just to start the thing. So dumb. And like Metroid Prime, you can emulate the IR into your stick. It's just kind of hard and it doesn't work very well, but it's pretty fun, pretty awesome. But yeah, I gotta show you that device. It's very nice. The sticks are it's built like the PlayStation Vita. Similar setup, but it's got A, B, X, Y, not XO square triangle like you'd expect. So it's set up like an Xbox controller, but it's laid out like a Vita, where the two things are on the bottom, and then it's things up here, buttons up there. But yeah, it's really interesting. Playing I was just looking through because it had all the emulators down there already, and I'm like, well, let's look at them all, and it's like it does have Vita emulator. I just don't think it would work, and Vita emulation isn't very far along to begin with. So, and then like I said, PlayStation 2 didn't expect a whole lot to run, but like if I could get something like Grandia 3 type of game, like maybe a lower as far as like how much it's gonna hit the CPU or whatever, like a lower tier RPG or something like that. Obviously, I'm probably not gonna be able to play like any like really high rendered 3D thing. But if it's just an RPG kind of thing, I wouldn't doubt it could run Final Fantasy X. Probably not very good, but we'll see. But I'd be interested. But obviously, a lot of these things have better ways to play them. You can buy them on Steam, play them on the Steam Deck. But there's some things. I was looking at the emulators. I like Sega Genesis or Sega Saturn and Sega Dreamcast. Never really thought about playing those ever, but I got some ROMs for them, and I'm playing Panzer Dragoon. Like, it's crazy, dude. And then it's an Android, so like you just have YouTube on there, and you just have Google Chrome, and like everything is just normal Android stuff. So it's honestly, it's might be the best purchase I've ever purchased. Next to that little guy that I have, that's like a Game Boy that lets me play Super Nintendo. That one was also a very good purchase. I got that for like $100 years and years ago, when something like that was kind of like didn't really exist. And I was surprised that it actually worked. I was like, this one, I wasn't expecting it to work all that well. I was expecting like a shitty little thing, but the thing itself is surprisingly good build quality. I'm very surprised. Now, maybe it'll crash in a year and we'll see, but I mean, even then it's like, what am I really losing? You just buy another one and it's all set up for you. But I guess I could log into a Google account specifically for that and then save like all the apps and everything, like save the state of the phone, and then if I get a new one, I could reload that state on there. Raspberry Pis that's set up with RetroPie. Basically the same thing, dude. Basically the same thing. And yeah, it had all that stuff. It had like, I uninstalled most of them because I just never was gonna use them, but it had like the old, like the arcade. So was it MAME, M-A-M-E? The old arcade machine stuff. It had Atari, all that type of stuff. But yeah, so I picked one game on each system to play. So GameCube, I'm playing Yu-Gi-Oh! False-Bound Kingdom. Game Boy Advance, I'm gonna play, I think it's Legend of Mana. It's whatever's. I'm playing all the. I'm playing Secret of Mana on Super Nintendo right now, and I'm playing through all those that I can. So I have like that. I have Legend of Mana. One of them's on PSP. There's one on DS. I have all of those, so I'm playing through all those. Those are like 40-hour games, so it's crazy. But yeah, those. It's the same exact idea as that, Jouncer, except throw it into a PlayStation Vita controller, right? But anyway, let me end the video and I'll just run up and get it and I'll show you guys. But I appreciate you guys stopping by late on a what is it, Tuesday, for the double Team Wars review, and I was yapping a little bit. But I appreciate you guys. We'll be right back if you're here, but if you're watching on YouTube, this will be up on a Wednesday. So happy Hump Day. We'll see you guys.